Several atheists have asked me the sentiment given in the following quote, an excerpt taken from a PM I've recently received. Many people depend on religion to give them the will to survive. Surely, if you manage to convince a devout man on his deathbed that God didn't exist, that he might be less inclined to live. Of course, I'm not accusing you of anything, but I'm thinking, hey, surely religion has its own absolute benefits, and if we strip people of those benefits, wouldn't there be repercussions? My first response is that if people are only willing to survive because they have an irrational belief and discovering truth that contradicts their belief is enough to end their lives, then isn't death what they'd prefer? My atheistic point of view makes me want to enjoy and appreciate the life I do have for as long as I possibly can, due to my practical certainty that this time is finite. However, if people are so invested in their religion that they die if they realized it wasn't true, I don't think that they're going to seek out a dissenting opinion or take it seriously. I also don't subscribe to this concept that human life is absolutely essential to preserve in all cases at all costs. I have a natural will to preserve my own life and those of other humans in general, but there are cases in which it's healthy to accept death. If I reach a hopeless point in my life in the waning hours when I'm so disheartened by my inability to believe that I'm actually capable of some spiritual immortality that it kills me, I consider delusion-free death to be superior to the alternative. I would never condone running around to people on their deathbeds trying to convince them that their God isn't real. I may not want to die under the spell of a happy little delusion, but if they do, it's their choice. I'll leave it to the religions to keep trying to convert people on their deathbeds who should be resting in their final hours in whatever condition they see fit. I would find it a complete waste of time and effort to attempt breaking down the walls of religious dogma and general ignorance that have been heavily reinforced by ages of mental conditioning in an attempt to spread my message to someone who's going to die soon anyway. I'd much rather shine that light of skepticism and secular values upon a younger audience who has time left to lead and enjoy a life free of dogmatic bigotry and religious guilt. Apart from the death issue here is the issue that religion does give some people hope and comfort, even if they're not dying. We may find that hope, comfort, or inspiration completely irrational and pointless, but if they lead to the preservation or apparent increase in quality of that person's life, well, why try to convince them otherwise? I don't consider myself any more cavalier for defending and promoting the position of disbelief in God than I would if I were doing the same for the disbelief in Bigfoot or leprechauns. There just happen to be more people who disagree with me, and they're welcome to. I won't go into their churches and try to educate them on how irrational their behavior is. In return, I just ask them not to attempt to present their fairy tales as facts in public classrooms. In the same way, I won't go to church-sponsored charity events like the blood drives here that I regularly contribute to and try convincing them that their altruism has been sparked for the wrong reasons. I just ask that they not barge into secular charity events and try making sermons out of them. Religious moderates and secular humanists, which make up the largest chunks of the theist and atheist circles I've encountered, can peacefully coexist, and they can even discuss religious topics, so long as everyone agrees to behave like adults. The bigger topic here is the potential variety of repercussions for the alleviation of religion. Personally, I don't think religion is going anywhere anytime soon, and I don't pretend that my message will do much to change that. Global destruction of religion isn't my goal. Achieving equal treatment and cordial respect for those who dare to not agree with the delusional, imaginary friend-worshipping majority is what I care about. However, if tomorrow morning every religious person woke up and decided to objectively evaluate their faith and discovered the absurdity thereof, I think that the negative consequences would be few and far between. Those who now do generous and charitable works in the name of their God would probably continue to do such things without pretentiously preaching during the process. Likewise, even the fundamentalists who can't currently conceive of morality existing without delivery from a God would probably quickly come to an understanding of why every atheist on the planet doesn't run around killing, raping, and stealing. So, those who would sincerely prefer a delusional and irrational perspective are more than welcome to it, as long as they can comprehend and respect why people take a position of doubt against their outlandish beliefs. Also, while people may take comfort in the idea of their religion, those who prefer to be accurate rather than comfortable deserve a voice in the ether that sings a note of reason to crack their indoctrination. Those are the reasons I'm not too concerned with walking on eggshells around a hypersensitive, intolerant, and ignorant religious majority that is intellectually dishonestly represented or misunderstood, scoffed, ostracized, or in extreme cases brutally murdered those who take my minority opinion for centuries, even if that makes them uncomfortable.